This is the Sports Timeout Podcast Special Edition with Wes Underwood.
Yeah, we bring in current defender Izzy Rodriguez. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Man, I can't complain. Definitely going to come watch you all this Sunday for sure, especially after that last game. That's not the reason why. It's good Father's Day activity, and we got the pleasure to come up, so we're going to come watch y'all.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's definitely fun day to do on a Sunday with the family, and I think after a good win Wednesday, hopefully we're going to have another one of those Sundays. So
Absolutely. So a little bit of background here. Last time we brought you in, we talked the beginning of the season and the new squad coming together, and here we are pretty much midway through, and you've come on strong. I mean, you've 2 starts, 11 appearances, 2 goals. How are you feeling overall right now? How's the season taking its toll on you?
I think the season's kind of been a journey so far. You know, each game and each week we've been learning and growing as a team. And I think all of us have done a pretty good job at focusing on whatever role we're in each week and whatever formation we're in, whatever opponent we're doing. We're just focusing on what each of us can kind of do individually and as a team and kind of contribute to our team performances. And I think each week we've seen a little bit of growth and something we're learning and learning about each other. So hopefully that continues, but I feel like midway through the season, that's the biggest thing is each week we just got to keep growing.
Absolutely. And I really kind of want to highlight your defense here. You have played very well on that back line when you're back there and then kind of in the middle as well. Your tackle success rate is what caught my attention. I mean, it's a hard thing to do successfully, even as a pro. I mean, you're sitting up in the upper 80s on that, on percentage wise for your tackles. I'm curious, how does one practice tackles without getting injured and being more consistent in the league? Because you've got quite a few.
Well, thank you. I actually didn't know it was that high, so that's a cool stat to know. But I think it's just kind of a competitive training environment. You know, every day we're going at it. Everyone's pushing each other to get better. And when you have players like Deb and Lo and Cece and Michelle and all of them running at you, you kind of have to get better. So I think it's just getting the repetition in. We're all smart, obviously, but it's competitive and getting footwork down. You have to make mistakes to figure out how to get better. So I think it's just all those things, having a competition, but not being afraid to have mistakes here and there.
Awesome. Indeed. I mentioned your 2 goals on the year. You got that first one at Angel City, and then number 2 came at OL Reign last week. What goes through your head as a player now after you got that first one out of the way? I mean, is it still exciting, or is it, okay, let's get back on the ball, let's keep it going? I mean, we need to do something here.
Yeah, definitely still exciting. I know both times I've scored, we've had to kind of start right back up again, and I don't mind that too because I don't have celebrations picked out in my head like a lot of people do. So it's exciting. You know, everyone on the team has been super awesome about congratulating me on those things, and I think it's always really exciting to score. But right now, I think the more momentum we have, and just like you saw in the last game, we were kind of scoring back to back. So we can kind of keep that going. I think that'll help us in the future for sure.
You bring it up. I know it's the cliche that everybody just talks about and wants to talk about, but celebrations, do they kind of push you to kind of get out there, or are they just like, she's good?
Definitely. I think if you plan them ahead of time, people are all for it. I know Lo was waiting for us to have some in this last game. We were all just too excited, I think, when we were scoring. But I have the consistent 2 hands up when I've scored, and everyone kind of does laugh at that because I do the same thing in practice. So I might need to find something else soon.
Okay, Sports Timeout Podcast is asking, can you do the running man?
The running man, I will try my best.
You got to remember that, and then we'll know that Izzy Rodriguez. And do you want to go by the jet?
You can go. I'm a big fan of that, so sure.
Okay. All right, because I know the players on the team and your teammates have kind of just hinted towards that. I didn't know if you wanted it, but we'll call you that.
I'm fine with it all.
All right, and then we kind of talked that cup game on Wednesday. Y'all dominated, kind of stayed there on the pitch and forced a shutout. Biggest win at home since coming into the league. What's been the team's mindset at training since that game?
I think we had a really good performance that game from start to finish, and I think that's been one of the biggest things we've been focusing on is having a full game of performance and really just keeping that momentum. I think it's important that we come off with the same energy, start the game with the same energy on Sunday as well. and really focus on having momentum and controlling the game, whether we're controlling it defensively or controlling it on the attacking side. Really just keeping that competitive mentality and the momentum going through this whole week.
Absolutely, absolutely. Y'all go up against the Spirit Sunday back here at Children's Mercy Park. You'll be taking on a pretty aggressive team that's put 20 points on the table this season. What should we expect in this one?
Yeah, Spirit is a super dangerous team. We definitely have a lot of preparation to do, but I think our big focus again has been focusing on our team's performance and what we can do. And the biggest thing is that we're going to have to win together. It's not going to be an individual. It's not going to be a few people. It's going to be the entire team, from the staff to each player that there is. So that's just got to be our main focus, is playing as a unit, defending together, attacking together, and getting numbers around the ball.
Absolutely. Last question here for you. Once again, kind of a fun one. For the fans out there, can you answer what kind of got you going towards this career path? I mean, what led you to just love soccer?
Well, I started soccer at about 4 or 5. A friend's dad just was coaching a team and threw me in there. And funny enough, I had no idea what I was doing and scored 2 goals on myself the first game I ever played soccer. But since then, I think just a lot of my friends from home were playing, and I continued on that journey and played a bunch of different sports growing up, but nothing compared to soccer. It's what I loved. It's what I felt like I excelled at, and what I loved pushing myself at. It was something that no one in my family has really done. So I think that was another thing too. Normally I feel like somebody in your family plays a sport and you follow along, but we were all over the place. My brother was not into it. My parents were never in soccer, so I think it kind of felt like something of my own as well.
Awesome. Well, that's a fun story. I mean, that's awesome to know. I mean, that could help someone push to what they want to do too. So
For sure.
always good to talk. Glad that you came back on. We appreciate it. We hope you guys do well this Sunday. Looking forward to being there. Anything you want to say to those fathers out there before we go?
You guys are awesome. I know I love my dad, and he's one of my biggest supporters. So just keep cheering on your kids. It means a lot.
Awesome. Have a great one, and thanks for coming on.
Thanks so much.